A very good evening and welcome back to PSGL F2 Season 43.
Yes guys, we're here for round 2 of the championship in PSGL. Last week we raced at Silverstone, we finished in P7. Hopefully we can do better today at China. Let's first head into qualifying. I don't know my pace compared to the other guys. It really depends if I can hook up a lap, which I'm not consistent in qualifying. So I'm just gonna try my best and we're just gonna see. And let's see, it's gonna rain in the race, no way. Oh my god. Yes, it's gonna rain in the race. We've obviously not done any rain practice.
Alright, first lap.
So it is rain again in the race. As we are now on board for my very first quali run. We're gonna stay on board for this entire run. As we go into turn 1, we're just trying to hook up a little banker lap. And as I said there briefly, I was not really consistent with my laps in qualifying. Now my PB was at 30.997 and I didn't know at the time how competitive that would be. So going into qualifying, I was not really sure because I was also just not consistent with the laps. I could easily do low 31s, but not consistent close to my PB. So in this session, we're just gonna have to wait and see where we square up against the rest of the grid. So far this lap has been pretty decent. Nothing perfect, but that's not what we're aiming for in this lap. As we're just trying to set a little banker lap. As I always say, little banker, just a little banker lap, just a little banker lap. The sector split, as you can see in the top right, is a 51.7. As we go into the last sector, it's so important to get the battery right. And in this lap, I did the battery very good. As you're gonna see on the straight, we're gonna have the battery for the entire straight here. And you're gonna see later how important that actually is for the lap. Going into the last corner now, really easy to mess it up. You can gain a lot of time if you hook it up as well.
The last corners, always so much time for me in there. That's a good banker though. That's a good banker.
Harmnn, he goes quick as 31.3 and he's around 600ths of a second ahead then of Simon. A good lap time from the Audi driver in the...
I guess we should take that. I'm surprised by that, to be honest. But we're not there yet. Alright, let's focus up. I'm afraid this guy's trying to get some slipstream from me.
Yes, we're in provisionally pole. We have been set down to second as we are going on board for our second run. And you can just hear. And you can see on the minimap, there's someone very close to me behind me. And he's trying to get a tow. And this is just something, it shouldn't really hamper me that much, but it's still in the back of my mind. And it does hamper me a little bit. We do 51.6 now. We're a little bit up on our time. But if you look at our battery management, you can see we are about 10% lower on the battery. So didn't really do a better lap there. And I'm gonna find out here.
Let's see if I did the ERS right. Nope.
Nope, I did not do the ERS right. You can see all the time that we gained in the top right. We just lost again. And now into the last sector, unfortunately, we also mess up the hairpin. So we lose even more time.
A few seconds ago, here comes Harmnn. Oh, and he's went wide. That's a deletion. And he's also bashed our street mode sign. That's going to be a hefty fine.
We're already in P5.
This has to be outside of the top 10, so we gotta improve. Don't even need to do a perfect lap. Yeah, unfortunately a hefty fine for me for destroying the board there. But now it's time to go on board for my last run, the oh so important run. We didn't really improve our second run, we're still with our banker lap in P5. But of course there's so much time in my lap still, so much time I say, there's 3/10 at least in that lap. So let's go on board and see what we can do for this final run. Of course we're gonna stay on board for this final run. And let's see how much we can improve. Going into turn 1, you wanna stay very tight to the inside, we're quite tight. Could have maybe been a little bit tighter even, but looks decent. And then into this left hand, we didn't really open it up and we hit that curb a little bit too much. The first sector is not great and up in front of us. I have no clue what they were doing. Actually, I know what they were doing. It was the same guy that was trying to get a tow from me. And he's trying to get a tow again. But he was behind someone that he was one car with behind someone that then made a mistake. And then they were both like inside each other basically. So yeah, luckily it didn't hamper us that much. As you can see by the delta, we're going very great in this lap. We're 2/10 up almost. Let's see if we do the battery this time the right way. But I was a little bit in my head here. We do a 0.5 this time, which is a really good sector split. And the battery seems okay as well, but into this corner, get on the power a little bit too soon. Unfortunately, we lose about a 10th there, and I was really bummed out about that. And as you can see here, the battery, I think it's still worse than my first lap, but it's still fine. As you can see, we didn't lose as much time, and we're gonna go into the hairpin here. And unfortunately as well, we go a little bit deep, we lose about half a 10th. And then into the last corner, we're just gonna have to send it. And we actually do send it a little bit, but
It's not the improvement that I wanted, but it is still a little bit of an improvement.
7th. What about Harmnn in the Audi? He's up by 0.2 of a second in the middle sector. Can he put himself potentially on the front row? Here he comes. He stays in 7th. Not with a great final sector there, unfortunately for him. And then we have the Bart Tsunami. He's currently not improving either in the middle sector, but can he find something maybe in the final sector? No, he stays in P8. And Fleur, out of nowhere, in the end, taking pole position. Where did that come from? 31.008. He was the last driver to improve over the finish line, but he steals away pole position by 12 thousandths of a second ahead of Botti. Richard Wicke in P3 by 81,000. But what an end to that qualifying session. It is Fleur who is going to take pole position here at Shanghai.
yes, so it's time to head into the race in China. As you can see, it is storming down. The clouds are leaking, and we're here for the Chinese Grand Prix. We're starting P8. And it was quite funny actually, because we had to do a restart. And when you do a restart, the lobby gets reset and it's dynamic weather. But
as much the 5 red lights will go on, but this is not the actual start. As you can see, many drivers taking a false start and hopefully returning as soon as possible, so we could get this race on the way, as we see an absolute carnage once again.
I'm gonna go with my guts. It's raining again! Oh my god, that's fucking funny. That is hilarious. Let's just do
Not at all, but here we go then. The 5 red lights are here for the Chinese Grand Prix, round 2 of the season. And the lights are off, and we get going.
Yeah, we actually get a decent start here. We're gonna straight away get Ivan on the outside, but as you can see by the arrows, we go a little bit deep here, trying to get used to the wet weather. And it's Bart on my inside with actually a really nice move. And we are a little bit boxed in here by the other McLaren as well. So we're still gonna try and edge ahead here. Looks like we are ahead, but Bart just has a little bit more traction. Maybe he went on the overtake a little bit sooner, as we can just use medium. In the hairpin, he's just ahead. We cannot do much here. We're gonna get a little bit squeezed out, but that's fair. It's his corner there at that point, and we're gonna have to squeeze in behind in P8, and then getting used to the weather again. I was a little bit struggling with using medium and stuff, and now we have Simon behind us, and we're gonna be under attack. And I see his arrows. I'm trying to go a little bit defensive, but it's too late because he makes an amazing move there on me, actually, surprising me in the first lap. And now we're down to P9, but obviously we're not really happy with that. And so we're gonna try, as everybody is still so close. Maybe we can do something in the hairpin coming up. Trying to find the traction in this long sweeping right. It's a very difficult track on traction, of course, China. And now we are behind Simon. Maybe we can do something into the hairpin. We're very close behind. Can we outbrake him? He goes not defensive. He goes to the outside. We're just gonna go to the inside. And we're next to him. Can we make the corner? It looks like it's nice racing, and we are able to get the position back, luckily. So we're back where we started, in P8, with a little bit of a different order now, in front and behind us. But after lap 1, we're a little bit getting used to the wet weather. Now we're gonna move on to lap 3, and as you can see in front of me,
2 McLarens swapping positions. The Bart Tsunami on the outside of Capybara getting ahead. Is that going to allow Harmnn to potentially have a look on Capybara to gain a position and find himself maybe in P7? He's a little bit too far behind. Not really any opportunities to make the move, as it's very difficult to overtake in especially the middle part of this lap. He has a look on the inside, but not much more than that, and has to sit behind.
yes, the McLaren swap and maybe dictating. As you can see, Barton already made a move and maybe dictating that the other McLaren is lacking some pace. We're gonna try and stay under attack. We're able to stay very close to him, but you can just see in the wet It's very hard because you don't really have overtake, and you have of course the sprint mode only your front wing opening. So there's not really a big deficit. It really has to come down to racing really, and it's quite fun, but it is really hard to then make the move. So we're gonna hear, as you can see, reel in this left-hander. Maybe we can square up a move here coming up, just like Simon did at the start of lap, which you can see. He loses his car, but go down the inside here. And I actually make maybe the best move of my career there, as I was really proud of that. Really nice move.
Yes, Harmnn up the inside of Capybara. Not really a place where you see an overtake. What we did see in real life between the Mercedes and the Ferrari drivers around the double right-hander. But there comes Capybara back up the inside. Oh, and there's contact between the two. As Capybara a little bit optimistic there as he sends the Audi driver off track.
Bro, what is that? What is that? I thought I made a very nice move there.
Yeah, unfortunately,
What the fuck is
this
he
pissed me off a lot.
What the fuck is he doing?
Looking it back, it's probably just a mistake. He didn't do it intentional.
Simon is now
That is
trying to get ahead of Harmnn, and he will do so. And the Audi driver losing 2 positions down to P10, and is almost losing another as Ivan is close behind the 3 of them in hot pursuit of each other. Harmnn trying to go on the outside, 3 wide maybe into the braking zone up ahead. You can see Capybara and Mertzin fighting. Simon stays ahead of Harmnn, who stays ahead of Ivan. But that was a bit of an interesting move there we saw between the McLaren and the Audi.
You go too big, bro. What are you doing?
Trying to keep my head together with this fighting, but unfortunately we moved down to P10 after that happened. And as you can see now in lap 6, Simon is gonna try and get the move on the McLaren. We go a little bit deep as well, but we're gonna try and see if we also can do something. Of course, really not happy with that incident, but incidents happen. It is what it is, you know. So we're trying to keep our head together and still fight our way back in this field. But of course, being a little bit frustrated. I wanted to get a move on. I just felt really quick. The setup was working well. We say in the Netherlands, we suck it from our thumb. It sounds really weird in English. I shouldn't be saying that, but we made it up. We made up the setup from thin air, and it was actually feeling really good. So happily, we got some pace in the car, but we are stuck behind, and it's really hard to make the moves, as you have already seen. You have to be aggressive, and it doesn't always go well, apparently. So we're in P10, behind Simon again. Also a very quick drive. We all got very quick drives in here, of course. Not really close enough to do anything into here, and Simon knows that move. Of course, bringing me onto the move, but he has a little bit of a moment there, and we're gonna send it.
Whoa, what a dive from Harmnn. That was a bold dive, and it has worked. Simon, caught by surprise, is now back down a 10th, and he wants that position back, but he's nowhere near Harmnn.
I saw this was my opportunity. We go for the biggest send of my life. We're able to stop the car, and we are back in front of Simon in P9. And it looks like we're able to fend him off as well in this right-hander.
Harmnn takes the position. I have noticed though, it is getting much, much drier. In a few laps, we will not be surprised to see drivers go on dry tyres.
Yes, as the commentator is saying, it is getting drier in the air. And I didn't show you guys, but the weather is actually rain to dry to rain. So in the coming laps, it's gonna get dry. But is it gonna be dry enough as we are defending from Simon behind? Is it gonna be dry enough to go to the slicks? Or is there just a couple of laps and can we hold off on the inters? We're not sure yet, but we have caught back up to the McLaren driver, who's again struggling in front of us. You can see on the traction he's losing the car a lot. And we are 4 tenths behind. Let's see if we have the straight line speed to catch up. The slipstream is quite massive in the rain. As you can see here, we're just closing off. And thinking about what happened a couple of laps ago, we're just gonna send it, obviously. Into the hairpin we go. Down the inside, we leave the space on the outside. It's a little bit archy-barchy. Looks like we kind of make the move. But he ends up going into the pits there. Because it is getting dry. And I was...
I don't know, I didn't anticipate really. Didn't think. I should have asked the weather. But I was so busy trying to make the move.
And to be honest, I was so focused on making a move. I didn't ask the weather, didn't do anything. And here you can see race control allows
Oh my god, boost.
boost
Okay, so
and the normal straight mode.
Yeah,
with
let me fucking talk to the fucking...
And that's my engineer saying that to me. I cannot open the window and ask the weather report. But it says 10 to 15 minutes of dry, which is
10
too
to 15
long to
minutes is
hold
too long.
off on these inters. So we're gonna head into the pits. Kind of accidentally stayed out another lap, but we'll see as we come out of the pits if this is gonna be the right strategy.
Jesus, he's going slow.
We're going on to mediums, as I thought 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes should be good for the mediums. Mediums should be better. That's what I was thinking. So, luckily we come out in P8 in front of the McLaren, showcasing that we pitted the right lap there, which was crucial. And now we are behind Mertsimp, and one lap later in lap 11. You can see we're just about closing in a little bit. Again, we're high on the battery. And maybe we can make a move on the long straight that is coming up. As you can see here, we're just able to stay so much later on the brakes. The setup was actually also in the drive working very well. And we are less than 2.5 tenths close to his back. Of course, we have the boost mode to our availability. His light starts flashing already. So either he's letting me go or his battery is out. And we make the move up to 7th position. Finally, we're back up to 7th position. But now we have a gap of 2 seconds ahead that we have to try and close into.
Can go quite long.
And
I messed up the last corner there, unfortunately.
we set the fastest lap with a 33.6. So that's good. And we're able to close that gap to 1.1 seconds. But then on the straight, unfortunately on the straight, we are lacking slipstream. And the boost mode, of course, which he does have. He is on the hards as well. But as you can see, we're just about not able to close in. And now the gap is 1.9 seconds. Moving on to lap 14. Asking the weather report.
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes.
We can see here
He wants to work together.
Mert
but
is moving around,
sorry,
which
I'm
is
not gonna
kind
do
of signaling that he wants to work together to get this gap down. But
I don't think I should.
I didn't really want to, because if I let him go now and I cannot get back past him, we're gonna have rain and then it's gonna be even harder to pass him again. So I think my pace is good. I'm just gonna keep him behind me. It's maybe not, we don't know if it's a smart decision, but we're gonna see. And it ended up being a good decision, because we can see here, in lap 19, we're 1.9 seconds. And I don't know if the cars ahead were fighting or just lacking pace, because I was also getting away from Mert in this lap again, as you can see. Maybe because it's starting to get really cloudy again. I don't know, I was not really struggling. And the people that around me, I was just a lot faster in this lap than the rest, it seemed. And you're gonna see, we're gonna get Mert out of the 1 second. And we're just almost gonna get into the 1 second of the cars ahead here. This little battle for P4 that we have got in front of us. Can we get into that 1 second? That's very important. And it's still not raining. And we've been trying that for the past 10 laps. Trying to get into that 1 second. He has to go defensive, is why they are losing time. The gap is 1 second. It's gotten below 1 second. Can we get it? In the top left you can see we just about make it. And I was really happy with that, actually.
Let's go, chat. Let's go! Oh!
This was so motivating, because my pace just felt so good. I felt so good in this race. Eventually it took a little while, but the race pace was amazing. And now we've caught up, but the raindrops are starting to fall. And we can see that we are also struggling a little bit, but we are all struggling a little bit, trying to keep the car together with these changing conditions.
Vital.
And actually, as you can see in the right, just above my face, and he says 10 minutes. So it's gonna be rain until the end of this race. And my tires are right now about 77%.
Should I take the risk?
Should I take the risk? Should I go in? Or is it a little bit too early? Because it feels like it's not really raining down that much.
It's a bad idea. I should have won.
No! And
3 seconds.
immediately after
Oh my god.
I decided to
so
stay
easy
out,
with
I thought
everything
I
else.
should have went in. Why did I not go in? I should have went into the pits.
Let's hope we don't get a...
But we still have the
sure this
whole
one.
lap to go. That was what I was thinking. You never know really what a pace is like on this lap. So we're gonna stay on board for this entire lap and see. And as you can see as well, we get a 3-second time penalty, unfortunately. As I was just so focused on should I go in, should I not go in. I made a mistake, I went wide and got a third warning. And unfortunately that's a 3-second time penalty that's really gonna cost us towards the end of the race. Of course, everybody's staying so close to each other. But right now we have to get that out of our head and stay focused. As you can see here, we're just struggling on these medium tires. We have to brake for this corner really hard, and the car's just not turning anymore, of course. In these conditions, on the medium, it's really hard. And the tires are also just dead. This is the last lap we can do on these tires. As you can see, we cannot even get on the boost. We're gonna outbrake ourselves as well. And this was like a really important corner where I was like, okay, either we just lost all the time that we could have been gaining from the right pit stop, or this is just really the wrong time and we should have went in a lap earlier, and that means that we're gonna lose a lot of positions. But I did have some hope because straight line mode was still available up until
we still don't have straight line mode, you know, unavailable.
here. 3, 2, 1, now.
Although this is awful.
Okay, yeah, amazing timing for me. As you can see, race control finally disables straight mode. That's usually a sign that it's the crossover period. That's what I see as crossover period. If it's exactly the crossover period, I don't know, because this lap was not great at all.
It's okay.
So I think it was a little bit earlier.
81% at the end. But
we have 81%, but coming out of the pits, as you can see, it's very close between me and the Ferrari of Mert. Can we keep the move? This is very important, as it's so hard to overtake in the rain. We're gonna stay on the inside here. And we have the corner, we're just gonna put our car in front of him. And we are able to keep that position, so we're in P7 here. And to be honest, this was kind of it. So we're gonna move over to the last lap. That was kind of it. I was not able to catch up. I also had the 3 seconds. And I also was just out of fuel. So I had to actually LICO in the last couple of laps.
But Botti comes out of the final corner. He's going to make it 2 for 2. Is the F3 champion. Botti wins the Chinese Grand Prix by 4 tenths ahead of her. What a fight between these two all race long. And Abart Tsunami does just enough to secure his first podium of the season ahead of Krishy, who gave him a real good run for his money on the final lap, just ahead of Richard Wicke. Then it is Ragnetto in P6, followed by Mert Sim RP in 7, ahead of Harmnn, who had that 3-second time penalty.
okay, shame for the 3 seconds, but it is what it is. We crossed the line in P8.
Yes, we end up in P8 after that race. What a crazy race. Of course, it's gonna end in the stewards with that incident in the McLaren. But also with my warnings, because I saw in the briefing that you can cross this pit entry line that I crossed, and I got a warning for it. We'll see if it gets removed. Doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Next week, we've got Spa. See you then.